This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Yeah.
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerds!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd School.
My name is Low Key. Welcome to the Nerd School podcast. You Jack.
Welcome to a very special episode of the Nerd School podcast.
With the two greatest hosts of
That's
Of
right.
Nerd
It's
School.
the Rock and Roll Express of the Nerd School, Artstar and Joe, the pupil. And we got some guests. We normally don't have guests, but we connected with a group that's coming to Charlotte for a live comedy show called the Black Power Ranger Comedy Show.
comedy tour. I think it's Black Power Rangers Comedy Tour. Is what they're
The
called.
Black Power Rangers Comedy Tour. And so they'll be our guests here shortly, and we'll let them explain exactly what they're doing and where they're going to be. But we're excited to try having guests for one of the first times.
Right. And Joe will
So-
get to ask some stupid Power Ranger questions, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of Power Ranger questions. That's the thing. They approached us, and most of us were like, we don't know anything about Power Rangers, but Artstar had a little bit. We're a little bit old for that generally.
And it's weird. I don't think there's even an age bracket for that.
You
Cause
don't
like,
think?
no, because like when it started, like I was at that age where, like I had friends who like we would watch it like together, and it
Mhm.
would just like we'd imitate the. That's the sound that like the putties make. I don't know if you know what the putties are, but they're like the
Mm-mm.
generic. It's
What's
like
the sound? How does it sound?
something like that. They're like, they make this really weird. Like you just have to, when you get a chance, just look them up. But they're called putties, and they're like gray. But then they're just like these androgynous little creatures, like the monsters. Well, and it's kind of like the show's based on like kaiju's, right? And it's like a combination of kaiju and Voltron.
So is it like aliens, like the Greys?
Yeah.
Like they call
What is
Greys
it?
aliens?
They're called putties, but they're gray. They're gray, androgynous looking.
Like with the big
beings.
black alien eyes, like the
No,
the
they just have,
typical.
like they literally have no eyes. Just like it's like how when they show like a behind the scenes of like some sort of movie that they're making, and the person has on a full green bodysuit because they're gonna make them look like something else. These things are just like in full gray bodysuits, and like they didn't have like little black adornments or trim or whatever.
Okay.
But then it's like, so you have like them, like let's say if this was He-Man, you have like Skeletor would send Beastman, and then you'd have like all of those other little guys who would hang out with
Yeah.
Beastman.
All the little soldier guys.
Right. So
They're
these
like
are
Cobra soldiers or
Right.
stormtroopers or something.
yeah, exactly. They're just like that. Except all they make it, they just make this really weird noise.
They don't
And
talk.
like no, and we used to always trip about the noise they'd make, and they just like the dude come in and like, Tommy, it's morphin' time, and then they do the whole. It was hilarious. And then like my nephew, he got into it, so it was
Okay.
like we would watch. Sometimes we'd watch Power Rangers together, and like he would get the toys. But
Now, how much younger was your
my nephew, I was 19 when he was born, so he's 19 years younger than me.
Okay. Okay, so very like a little kid, yeah.
Right. But then it's also, like I've always been a big ass kid. So it's like it got to the point where it's like you watch something, you're like, okay, it's just time to let this go. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, do you guys really need to keep doing this?
Yeah.
Like I recently just watched, just because I think it's called Power Rangers Now and Forever or whatever they had.
hmm
It was like it was one of those things where it still had that low budget nature to it. But
So
then
it looks like 1993 is when it happened.
right.
And it's like a low budget live action type of
And like I think
Voltron.
for the most part, they was always filmed because it's cheaper, I guess, to do it there.
Okay.
Filmed in Australia. Hold on. But like, yeah, so it was just like one of those things where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to like it keeps carrying on and on and on and on, and then,
Yeah.
like you feel like it's ran its course, but then they'll go off into space. They'll come back. There's dinosaurs, but then it's like it used to be always was just 5 of them. Then they picked up a 6th one, but then they started
Oh.
shrinking. So now it's like there's only 3 of them. There's
But do
also
they-
ones of the bad guys who
Do they like
you know,
form into a robot like
yeah,
Voltron?
they're Zords. They call them Zords.
Please welcome to the Nerd School podcast. Our first ever guests. Our first ever guest, Mr. Wills Maxwell, Mr. Jordan Centry. Welcome, guys.
Thank y'all so
Hey,
much. for having
hey,
us.
happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in, guys. Tell us about you, Art. You want to start with your question?
I was just going to sit there and say, tell us about the Black Power Rangers comedy tour. Like I tried to find some stuff about you guys online. Like I seen like little bits and clips, and I fell up into your podcast, Wills, and so I started kind of listening to that.
Oh, appreciate that.
It's like, I guess give us a gist. Like I grew up watching Power Rangers, but I fell out of it. Joe
Yeah.
doesn't know shit about Power Rangers.
Oh, for real? Are we
Really?
educating Joe today?
Yeah, I'm a little old for that. I think like 93.
I was just explaining to him about putties. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Mhm.
he didn't understand, and I was trying to imitate the sound that they
What a
make.
perfect children's show villain. It's like they don't
Yeah.
die, they just kind of just break apart.
Right.
You hit them
Yeah,
hard, they just kind of break
exactly.
apart.
So I think out in 93, I was like a junior in high school. So I think it was a little bit past my age.
For sure.
I was starting to, discover girls and all that. So I kind of
Hey, we've established in the very beginning of our podcast that, like, just because you're a nerd doesn't mean you don't know what a girl is.
That's
That's
right.
So,
That's kind of what
Girls-
our podcast is
girls
about.
are nerds too. It just
Right.
takes you a
I
minute
was
to
just about to say.
Yeah.
right.
That's what we're discovering now. It's like a different world than it was then. And so kind of what the whole premise of our podcast was that I am a nerd. I'm a fledgling nerd, but I'm not hardcore like the teachers on the podcast. So like Art, my brother Andy, and Tiffany are like hardcore, like they know the ins and outs, they know the comic line stories, they know where it all comes from. And I wasn't really into that, but now I'm an older guy. I don't, I love all the explosions and that, but I'm trying to learn like what's the nerd culture? Like everything's nerdy. You can be nerdy. You can be a podcast nerd. You can be you don't have to just be a comic book nerd. You can be a Ninja
beer
Turtle
nerd.
nerd.
What I
Beer nerd.
found-
Yeah.
What I found was that nerd was just the same as passionate.
Right,
So I was
yes,
always
right.
committed
Yes.
to being a nerd because it was just like there was like a brief time in high school where I tried to like pass as cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of it's like I could do this, I could hide myself. But what I figured out was like, oh, if you were excited about something, but no one else, that's what makes you nerdy. It's just like you care about something. It was like,
Yeah.
I love the NBA. I can tell you about all the different champions and players, and we can talk stats and record holders. And it's cool to like sports, but if you like sports the way I like sports, it's nerdy. So it's just passion.
Yeah.
Tell us how you guys fell in to this whole band. I feel like, are you guys like a collective?
Yeah, you guys are here
happened?
from the Black Power Rangers comedy
Yeah,
tour. Is that
but
right?
Here's my thing. Here's my
Yeah,
thing. Here's
Go
my
for it.
thing.
Yeah.
As the person, as one of 2 persons of color on our podcast, are you guys the Black Power Rangers because Black Power Rangers comedy tour because you're black, or is it because you all just like the Black Power Rangers?
Oh, that's a
Are
great
you-
question.
Are you guys like Zach Taylor fans? Are you
Yeah.
Zach Taylor fans, as TBJ would say if she was here?
So I've actually gotten the recommendation recently that maybe I need to throw a comma in there somewhere because we are the Black Power Rangers. So it is because
That's
we're
what I
all
thought.
so we might need
Ah.
a little put a dash there.
Oh,
But
so
it's
what-
because we're all black comedians, and it is because we do like Zach Taylor. We do like
Oh,
Power
okay.
Rangers and all that. But
Okay,
it's
you do.
mostly-
Okay, I would say, does that have nothing to do with the Power Rangers? Like, I totally misread.
If a toy company asks, no, it has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But
Right, yeah, that's
Protect
right.
the brand. Protect the brand.
but yeah, we're black comedians. We are a collective. Jordan's out in Charlotte. I'm in Wilmington. Brandy Roberts, Matt White, they're in Raleigh. Cordero Wilson, Gerard Fortune, they're in New York. And then when we go town to town, this year we're doing 10 cities. A lot of our cities we're adding a guest on. So we are Black Power Rangers. We're producing our own show. We're putting our own tour together. We're booking each other on, making sure everybody gets on, making sure everybody gets time and get some time on the road, and also just promoting each other while building this network. Like, Jordan's been one of my favorite comics for years. I have been on exactly 2 shows with Jordan, and one of them was Black Power Rangers last year when I got a chance to book them. Like, these things we don't just end up on a show together. So the tour is just like recognizing that if we want to work together, we just got to make it happen ourselves.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say, I just want to add to that. Something that I really respect with like what Wills has done with this is like he's really taken it beyond just Black comics, and it's really has used it as a vehicle to uplift Black-owned businesses as well, in Black spaces. I know last year when they came through Charlotte, we had the show at this Black-owned bookstore, which I thought was amazing. I know there's other venues like that Will picked along the way. So I really appreciate that. Wills is kind of sneaky though. He won't tell you the full story, so I will. What happened was every Black Power Ranger was assigned a Black Power Ranger costume. But Wills gave me the Gold Ranger costume.
Okay.
And we all know he did that because I'm light skinned. And really no one else got that costume. So he just really
That's funny.
even among Black throw me off from the rest of the group. So I mean,
I promise I didn't think that at all. Because Jordan was like this year. Jordan's on the tour with us. Jordan's doing 6 shows with us this year.
Wow, awesome.
Last year Jordan was our special guest ranger because we kicked it off in Charlotte.
Gotcha.
So I was like, he's the guest ranger. Every season of Power Rangers has one really cool guest ranger who's called the 6th Ranger. So I'm like, all right, who's the baddest 6th Ranger in history? The Gold Ranger. And I looked at the costume, I was like, it kind of looks black. So I just threw Jordan on there.
You see? Exactly. That was the secret message. That was the secret message right there.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, just
Jordan, I promise.
being
I know.
so not up on the Power Rangers. The Black Power Ranger, the one that wears the black suit, is a black guy, right?
It's not always.
Not always.
Not always.
Oh, what? But it is sometimes. It's not all Asian guys. Like, I don't know why I thought it was
Just like
Asian.
the second Yellow Ranger was the Black woman. So
Right.
Oh, really? There was a black
Yeah.
woman in the Power Rangers? I know nothing about
Yeah, so literally
them at
the
all.
first version of it, the Black Ranger was a black guy, the Yellow Ranger was an Asian woman,
Asian,
and
Okay.
they pretty much tried to present that as this is just coincidence. So from then on, I think the show's still on. So there's something like 30 different seasons of the show.
What?
Every time, yeah, it's still
Yeah.
going. It is
Oh.
still.
Yeah.
Shit. I
So
had
like
no
since
idea.
then, I think they've tried to avoid making a black person the Black Ranger again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, that's kind of funny. Like, hey, yes, a yellow Asian and a black. Yeah, right. Like, what? The little Native Americans wearing red. Like,
They
so do
tried
you-
that for a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I bet they did. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
So you guys, your stand-up sets aren't necessarily Power Rangers themed, but you might like
No.
hit a couple beats here and there about toys and action figures and nerd stuff.
The name is our material doesn't necessarily have to do with Power Rangers.
Gotcha.
So the name is just kind of like our brand name. It's just our name for the group.
Gotcha.
What a lot of the comics have in common is just like a lot of us do make pop culture references and things like that. But
Yeah.
mostly we're all comics who grew up in different parts of the South.
Oh, cool.
And so we're all black comics who grew up in different parts of, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, what have you.
Mhm.
Or live in the South now and can speak to that experience. So that's like a lot of the show is, it's a fun show. It's a comedy show. We don't
Yeah.
get heavy or anything like that, but
Gotcha.
but it is us using comedy as a way to like, be like, this is what it's like to be me. This is what it's like
Absolutely.
to exist as me and to grow up as me in this space.
Well, and that makes sense for you guys to do this. It's really cool that you're doing it because, like you said before, it's like sometimes if you're not getting booked or your friends aren't getting booked, you just got to do it yourself. That's what they tell you in the comedy biz. Like, get out there, get on stages, do your own show, produce. And that's one thing. Jordan's one of the biggest guys producing in Charlotte right now. He's got probably the best open mic that I've heard. Everybody talks about Starlight all the time, and everybody's like, Jordan's the best. Got to do Jordan. And so I've known Jordan for a while now, and always impressive. Like I always trust Jordan with any headlining spot that I have anywhere. I'm always like, oh, I need 20 minutes. I know Jordan can do it. So he's always on my short list. I just haven't been booking a lot lately, but so yeah, I'm cool. I'm excited about that. Tell us the location and the date of your Charlotte show.
Yes. So the Charlotte show, it's funny you mentioned that, Joe. Starlight is the reason why I got booked on this tour. Will saw how great Starlight was. It was like, yo, I don't even care about Jordan's talent. Just want that room.
How do I get this room? You got to put Jordan on it. Yeah. And that's not a bad idea either to do that. Like have yourself tied to something people want. Who cares why you get booked? Get booked, That's what they say.
No, I definitely put a lot of effort into building up that room because I mean that's a good reason for it. But yeah, so the stop for Charlotte is going to be at Starlight on 22nd, Tuesday, August 15th. Show starts at 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Will's have to tell you about the ticket price. I don't remember that off the top of my head, but yeah, it's going to be a great show, great venue.
Yeah, if you get your tickets now, it's $18.
Okay.
Using the promo code GOGO.
Oh, if you use the promo code GOGO, it's $14. That's until July 12th. So if you use that promo code before July 12th, it's $14. If you cut it before the show, it's $18.
Okay, I better
if you wait until the show.
I'll put this out.
Wait to show up at the door.
Yeah. What happens at the door?
It's $20. It's only $2.
Well, that's not bad, but it all goes for you guys. So I always feel guilty using those promo codes when I'm like trying to support comedians. Like, I want to support you, but I want to play $3 less. It's like I only want to support you a little bit, but
that's what they're there for.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's like see, I started here where I live in Wilmington, and I had zero compunction about that. I did one open mic, and they're like, "Did you know comedians get to go to shows free?" And I was like, "Then I'm a comedian."
Yeah,
I am
exactly.
I'm gonna start telling jokes.
Exactly.
I grew up poor, so I mean, anything that I could do to get like a discount. Or I'm going to take it.
Stack them discounts. Stack them.
Yeah, that gets
my
ingrained in you.
Reflex.
Yeah. I think if you grow up poor, no matter how much you got, that's just a thing you do. Like that's just ingrained in you. So I found myself doing that. I'm like, why did I have to get $5 off this? Whatever it is for my friend who's in a play. I'm like, hey, can I get in free? Hey, can I get free parking? Hey,
no, exactly though.
Yeah, because that's how you get around that stuff, I guess. But. Wow, this is okay. So this is going to be a long show because you said 5 comedians, 6 comedians,
right? So we have about five or six comedians, depending on the stop. I believe the show we're doing in Charlotte is going to be myself, Jordan, Brandy Roberts, and Cordero Wilson. So at the moment, just the 4 of us.
4, okay.
And the 4 of us are doing we're doing 5 shows back to back.
Whoa,
so from Charlotte, we're going to go to Knoxville, Tennessee. So that's going to be August 16th. And then we're going to go to Nashville on the 17th, Atlanta, Georgia on the 18th, and then go to Greenville, South Carolina. So from that part, it's going to be the 4 of us going 5 shows back to back with different guest comics. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's great. That's great.
I see you guys are going to my hometown of Baltimore. I thought
I'm
that
so
was
excited.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
That's going to be my first show in Baltimore.
Say it again.
Yeah, that's gonna be my first time. I'm really excited.
Okay.
First stop. Are you familiar with the club they're playing in Baltimore?
I am not.
We're gonna be at the Lou Costello room. The Lou Costello room in Zissimo's bar. So
the address. Off the top of your head.
I don't. I haven't looked at the poster yet. I'm patting myself on the back mentally right now. I was like, I knew the date.
Right.
I knew the
only reason I ask is like Baltimore, we have this little nickname we call it Smaltimore, right? It's kind of smaller than it's bigger than Charlotte, but it's so congested and small. It's like, oh, I know what that is. Like if you tell someone like, yeah, it's over east, like, okay, I know where that's at. Yeah. Like you get like you could be gone for 20 years. And you still know where something was located.
I like that.
That's cool. Yeah, we're excited. We might have to make a stop up there, Artstar, and check out that show at Starlight. You been at Starlight yet, Artstar?
No.
It's a cool vibe up there. It's like retro looking sort of when you walk in. It's
in Noda, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like walking into the 60s or something, or 70s or something. Like it's just a cool vibe in there. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, so I've been wanting to check out your open mic, but I rarely get out on a weekday night. But I think I'll have to make an exception for this for sure. But so that's cool. That'll be great. So people can check it out. Where's the website? How do we find you?
If you go, you can go blackpowerrangerscomedy.com or willsmaxwell.com/tour 2023. Either way will take you to all of our dates, the bios for the comics that are going on the tour, and tickets. Tickets are on sale. Also, merch. We're now selling Black Power Rangers t-shirts, hats, buttons, stickers, all in our like Redbubble store. So that's all up there, featuring artwork from Andy Gordon, a really dope Knoxville artist who designed our poster for us this year.
Oh, I love that. Supporting
willsmaxwell.com, blackpowerrangerscomedy.com.
Yeah, okay.
And I gotta say, Jordan would have been on the tour even if Starlight was. He would have been.
Oh,
Jordan's an OG Ranger. He did the tour last year.
Well, I know Jordan. I mean, you can't go wrong with Jordan Centry when Jordan Centry's on your show. He's always good. I've never seen him struggle. I've always seen him do well. So I mean, even just always seeing him, his jokes are always new and fresh. So I'm excited because I haven't seen Jordan in a while. So like, I'm all about that. So. And that's cool. And yeah.
All right, fellas, let's not raise up my self-esteem too much. All right, let's keep things in check.
Oh shit,
right,
Jordan's here. I thought he left. Yeah.
When I think of Jordan Centry, I think of quality. No, but for real, literally we've been on one show together. Like we met each other at Stand Up NBC is when we met, right?
Yeah.
So we met at an audition, and that was 5 years ago, and in that time we've only been just booked on a show together once.
And was that an audition for a reality show or something? Stand Up NBC?
It was like a stand-up like competition, but I honestly don't know what came of it.
It was very vague. It was like because the prize was you get to do something with NBC. The prize was like if you do it, it's like, oh, I get on the Tonight Show, maybe.
Yeah, they don't know.
Maybe it's something. They
just want to keep it cryptic. But what came of it is you guys met, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it
so
came of
it for you. Yeah.
Now it was really great seeing. Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. It was really.
No, I was just going because when I did that competition, I may have only been like a year or two in. I remember being in the round with Will and seeing him get on stage and say like, "Oh well, I lost this one," because Will at that point was just clearly like far and beyond like pretty much any comic on that show. So yeah, Will's is just as far as I've only known Will's to be an amazing comic. Well, awesome. So I'm definitely excited to be on this tour with him. And also you'll notice Will's is kind of like the Puff Daddy of comedy. Like you can see the tickets for the tour. It's willsmaxwell.com. Like there's everything is named after him. Like you just got comedians just want to be all up in the videos. Oh,
well, that's smart.
Just gotta slap the watermark on everything. Yeah, just
right.
Well, that's the way you can change what you do. If in 3 years from now you're a music video rapper or whatever, you can be that. Just use your name. Now you're this. Now you're that. Now you're DJ Khaled.
We do the Black Power Rangers album, and each track starts with me putting a producer tag on it. It's just Jordan telling jokes. Will's Maxwell.
Yeah. Will's Maxwell presents.
So for the audience, like tell them like what kind of a show is going to be, like a dirty show. It's going to be family friendly. Is it in between PG-13?
Here's the fun part of that. I think in between is the best answer, because people ask if none of us are really gross. None of us are really dirty comics. We don't really do that. I like, some of us work clean entirely, so it's kind of that type of show where like I don't think you'll really notice, but at the same time don't bring your kids. Don't
you'll drop an F-bomb here and there, but you're not like talking about graphic sexual things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So, like PG-13.
Yeah, we're not really like vulgar, but we're gonna say what we want to say. Come prepared.
That's kind of like the nerd school. I mean, Art and I are probably the most vulgar out of the whole show.
Most vulgar.
Yeah, we get, but we put the warnings on there. It's explicit.
Right.
Don't tell. Don't play it for your kids. Don't play it in your car. But well, that's cool. So what we do on the Nerd School podcast is we've been going through the MCU, and these guys are teaching me all about all the nerddom things and explaining to me like what comic this came from and what this superhero is.
Are y'all in chronological order? What are y'all of the movies releases, or how are y'all going through it?
We're going like the way the movies are actually released.
Nice. What are you up to?
We are Infinity War. Wrestling
awesome.
Oh, good. Thanos was right.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan.
Thanos was 100% right.
Yeah, we're in
I
the middle
always
of
get a
that.
lot of flack because, like, on my phone's home screen, I have a little poster that says "I am inevitable," and like my real name is Arthur, and Thanos is Greek for Arthur. So like, and I'm always
did
on the
not know
dark
that.
side. So I'm
See,
like,
dropping knowledge right
yeah,
there.
you know. Now you know.
But it hits different if his name is Arthur, though.
Yeah.
Right.
If Hulk just drops
Yeah,
out
true.
the sky and is like, Arthur is coming, it's like the
Yes.
artwork.
Like just like
Yeah,
Arthur.
the
And
anteater.
then, right, and people like expecting like what's the sister's name? D is it
DD?
DD?
DW?
DW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to work at this department store, and somebody called me over the intercom, and this little girl looked around. She was like, "His name's Arthur, like DW's brother," and I was like, "D who?"
Love that.
Like, I don't have a sister named DW.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, that's kind of just what we do. We're just kind of in between, and then when we get in between phases of the MCU, we take usually a summer break, and we each pick a nerd movie and make the other ones
Well,
watch it, talk about it.
it's not necessarily a summer break because we basically do it between phases. Like we've
Yeah.
done Christmas movies.
Oh,
That's
nice.
I mean, during Christmas time, rather, where Joe picked like what Howard the Duck, and
Yeah.
then Joe picks like Joe would usually pick kind of like sort of D-worst movie, and then
Barbarella.
I'll pick something that I'm like trying to force people to watch. Like I had them watch Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer without watching the first one. Like I feel
that
like
movie's good.
yeah, but we're like we're a tough crowd. So like like we know no one likes Tom Cruise in this group but
No.
me. Everyone
Yeah.
hates Tom Cruise but
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
we're like kind of a tough crowd.
Well, and Tiffany can be tough on everybody, like TVJ. Like she just says it like it is, and that's kind of what's fun about it. Is and that's I think with the dynamic we have, which is fun because she just says it like it is. She's always reminding us of how we men are fucking up shit and what we've done to objectify women and all this stuff, and then like justice up on us, so
Tell us about trash dudes.
trash dudes and who's trash and who needs to be canceled and all that. So I feel like we talked
Without
about,
having met her, I agree.
Yeah.
Without having heard her.
Yeah, me too. Me
yeah,
too.
she doesn't she's not afraid to just put it out there. Like she's very like
Sassy.
she's not bashful at all about
Right.
any of her opinions. Like she's like she'll put us down. Yeah.
Here's what I was not ready for, because I knew y'all were MCU. You talked MCU stuff, and you talked nerd stuff. I didn't realize, because Joe, you haven't said how you feel yet. I didn't realize that we are going to be on here with at least 2 Thanos sympathizers. Like y'all are like Jordan, Jordan and Art were both like, yeah, no, Thanos was the good guy.
I just like when Star-Lord calls him Grimace and says he's gonna knock his nutsack off his chin. Like that's my favorite part. Yeah.
That's great.
See,
All right,
Also,
can I
when
make
we-
a confession?
go ahead.
Yeah.
I forget which one. Endgame, right? That's the one before Infinity War, or was Infinity War first?
Infinity War.
After.
So Infinity War was first.
Right.
Okay, that was my first MCU movie.
What?
And the only
Trip.
reason specifically for Thanos. Like that's why I was told. I was like, this guy is a genius. I've been thinking overpopulation was a problem. We need to get behind this dude and support everything he has going on.
He's not lying. I
For
mean,
sure.
that is
And this is the content you can expect at the Black Power Ranger store. I'm getting on stage just to tell the crowd that half of them shouldn't be here. That's all.
You just come out with an Infinity Gauntlet, don't say anything, and just snap.
you're going to
Yeah.
alienate the crowd. I hope you're going
Exactly.
first.
Yeah. These jokes are inevitable.
Get out of here.
I love that overpopulation brought you into the MCU. That is hysterical. That's why.
So that brings up a question. I don't know. I haven't seen a whole bunch of shows in the last few months, but it seems like lately with the rise of like Andrew Scholes and Matt Rife and these guys who don't seem to have a lot of material, but they just like talk to the audience the whole time. Are you guys finding like a change in the clubs? Like, are people just expecting that now and just heckling more, or is it about the same?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I no, Wills. Yeah, you lead off, and then I'll follow up.
What I've noticed is I don't even notice so much like audiences like there has been some degree of audiences coming to expect that that's what a comedy show is, because what I've learned in my time is a lot of folks don't know what a live stand-up show is. A lot of folks don't understand that like a lot of times the comic is performing written material that we've performed over and over again to try to make better and better.
Yeah.
So a lot of times audiences don't understand that. So I found that there is some expectation, but what I've also come across is comics who really lean into that and are good at it. So I have no problem with that. I've met a lot of comics who are like, I once opened for this dude who like, we did 4 shows together, and the first 2 shows I saw him doing a lot of crowd work. And to me, anytime the headliner's doing crowd work and I'm opening, usually that makes me feel bad. Usually that makes me feel like, oh, I didn't do a good enough job opening. Sure. I didn't get this crowd ready for them. So now they're going into the audience. So I asked him about it. I was like, hey, do you want me to be doing like more crowd work so you can do your material? Like, what do you need from me for your show?
Yeah.
And he was like one of the first person I met who was just like, oh no, that is my show. Like that is what I do.
Yeah.
And like his feed is like crowd work clips. Like that is what he does. So I've got respect for folks who do it and who are good at it.
Because kind of improv, really. I mean, because you don't know what you're gonna get unless you're playing people in there. Yeah. So I would guess. So was his answer sort of like he preferred you not to because it took away from his, or
exactly because he wanted to be the one to like find those moments himself. Like he wanted to be the one to like kind of ask, how long have you been together? What do you do? He wanted to be the one to find those moments and like do it fresh.
Yeah, because if you do it, then you've already taken part of his show, I guess. So
yeah, exactly.
Interesting how that is.
Yeah, every headliner is different for the most part. I like being able to do my act, but I always try to like, if I'm opening, if I'm featuring someone, then that's when I'm in the mode of like, okay, well, how am I going to make like, how am I setting this audience up for that person? Like, how am I going to make this whole show work together?
Yeah.
I think another thing that it may have caused is kind of led newer comics to think that lack of preparation is fine. Because I've noticed, like, at the open mics I host, like on a few occasions, like comedians will come up there and will specifically say, I don't really have anything to work on, and then just like start talking. It's like that's not like, I know crowd work looks like they're just like making this up, but like there's a skill to this. Like you can't just get up there and just go. Like that's not how it works.
They've got things.
So
no freestyle comedy.
It
is freestyle, but you got to have like cards in your back pocket that you can lead to. Like, people are going to say the same 20 things, and if you can lead those back to a joke, I assume. I mean, I don't do a lot of crowd work, but like I assume like you got to be ready because those guys are ready with one-liners fast. Like, there's no way they just made that one up. Maybe sometimes, but I think a lot of it is the crowds are generally the same every night when you start talking to crowds. Like, everybody's wanting to talk about dirty stuff or their wife, sex life and shit like that. It's like this. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think you just if you just go completely with nothing and it just birds chirping and it's like, ugh. And the person going after you is really screwed. Like, or they're set up because that guy was terrible. Everybody wants to laugh. Either way. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. But
that's the thing that's like really like wild to me. It's like even with like crowd work, you don't necessarily have to have like pre-planned responses, but like you kind of like if you're going to practice crowd work, at least if you have that intention, like even that's fine. I think comedians have seen like crowd work clips and like throw out any plan at all when they come to a mic, is what I'm saying. Like they don't have any pre-prepared lines. They haven't even like Googled how to do crowd work. Like they've done no research on anything. Like they just go up there and it's like, I'm gonna make something happen. I'm funny. I can just be funny, and that's not how it works. And
no, that's 100% facts because it's crowd work is a skill. It's a skill. It's an improvisational skill. It's a magic trick. Yeah. Like you see someone do a magic trick. They're not just doing it. It's a skill they worked up. You can't just get on stage and be like, I'm gonna cut a woman in half tonight. Like there's a thing. There's a preparation to it. Yeah. You gotta work your way up to.
Well, and
Yeah,
if the crowd,
especially
yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I mean, I was just gonna say, especially for new comics, it's like
Yeah.
you have to like get five. You gotta learn the fundamentals. Like you gotta learn how to do like a good 5 minute set before you go up there and just start freestyling.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten like the basics down yet.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You
true.
got to be comfortable in a room. You never know what crowd you're going to get. Like, what if they're just duds? Like, what if nobody's saying anything? Which I've seen a lot. So, but yeah, and I think a lot of new comics want to be. They see it. They see Louis C.K. Oh, I'm going to be Louis C.K. I'm going to get up and talk about jacking off or last time I graphic sexual things and dirt. I'm always like, dude, nobody wants to hear about your dick. Like you don't have any jokes yet. Like you're not. You got to be somebody first. Like you can work your way to that. Like once you build an audience, then they're there with you. But some random guy talking
People
about
will ask you about your dick. Once you hit a certain point, people will come up to you and say, "Please tell me.
Tell us about your dick."
Yeah. Look, I guarantee it's happening in Matt Rife right now. I guarantee somebody's walking up and
you know it is. Yeah. And the girls now they're showing up. They've seen all his clips. They're bringing presents. They're hoping he picks on them because they have a bit of the show they want to add. So it's like he's already got it. I mean, he's gotten to a place where he's gonna live in this for a while, probably.
Oh, sure,
yeah.
I think this. I've got zero problem with anyone who's good at it. Like anyone who's good at it, like it makes it. I've never been like, as long as I've been doing this, I've always met comics who like, it feels like every comic has like a prejudice, like a line that they won't cross. Like I like everybody except for those friggin' singing comedians. Or it's like I'm here for all types of comedy, unless you bring a puppet on stage. I truly like whatever you do. Like if you're good at it.
Yeah,
great.
People
if you're
laugh.
good with puppets, if you're good with props,
that's great. I gotta say, I remember seeing Carrot Top when I was in college in the 90s.
For real?
And he came to our university, and there's a lot of college shows and stuff where they bring in somebody like that. And we kind of went as a joke. We were like, oh, it's Carrot Top. Let's go to that Carrot Top show. It's gonna be terrible. We're gonna just like, heckle it. It's gonna be terrible. I wasn't really in the stand-up world at the time. We smoked a little weed, went to the show, and he was hilarious. We laughed our asses off. Like just as his prop comedy was just like, fuck, he's funny as fuck. He was dirty, and he was just like, shit, Carrot Top's funny. Same thing with Sinbad. I know a lot of people made fun of Sinbad from Sinbad. Oh, you go see a Sinbad show? That's terrible. He gets a bad rap, but he's fucking on. He did a charity event.
I'll say Sinbad's top 5. I love Sinbad.
He was great. I don't know, like people joked about it. Oh, Sinbad. Oh, great, Sinbad. That's all they could get. And like he had that crowd, and he did a bunch of crowd work, and he had them from point one go. And he was just like, I was like, damn, that was some really good work. Like he had them rolling.
Yeah.
It was a charity event at the night theater, 1,200 seater, and it's like, don't hate on anybody. Everybody's been everywhere, and they go up and down. And you never know, but until you see them. But that's cool. Yeah, that's exciting, man. I can't wait to see your show.
No, I really appreciate that, man. No, this is it'll be the 3rd through 10th time, the 3rd through 9th time I get to work with Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So hopefully by 9 you guys won't have a falling out and no more shows.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, I can't wait for our behind the music episodes. Like that's going to be next level. Like it's going to be like the Jodeci breakup, is what I mean.
Speaking of Jodeci, sorry, I don't mean to cut in.
Please,
I would say, speaking of Jodeci, Jordan, I see I think it's on TikTok. You've got this kind of thing you're doing, a funny little bit that is it seems to be getting some action. Tell us about what you're doing, like with the videos. Funny shit.
For sure. Well, thank you. First off, let me just say, I never expected Joe to be the person to say, speaking of Josie, like that's the one thing I just never, I would never bet money on that.
Come and Talk to Me was my favorite song in the 90s.
Hey, there we go.
I know every word of that the extended version that has a rap in the middle. Like I used to do that all the time. But I saw Jodeci, Boyz II Men, and MC Hammer concert.
So wait, are you KC and Andy JoJo?
I'm JoJo.
Well, you're JoJo and Andy.
JoJo.
Your brother Andy's KC. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I love you. I was like, no, I'm JoJo.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Don't even.
Don't take that from me.
But yeah, man, it was just something because I think as a lot of comedians, you kind of like have to like play the social media game, right? I remember I got some advice kind of indirectly. I think it was this comedian named Aaron Weber who had gotten some advice from, I think maybe Nate Bargatze. He kind of said, name one comedian you know that just has one thing. Like you can't name one comedian that just does stand up and is successful, because like you just can't really get noticed like that anyway. So I, was going through the motions trying to figure out, all right, what can I do to like kind of grow a social media following? And I, I'm a real big fan of like watching like movie commentary on YouTube. And so I asked myself, all right, well, what's the like TikTok version of that? Like, what could I do in under a minute? So I was like, okay, let me do music videos. And the very first one I did was Nelly and Kelly Rowland Dilemma. And and like I posted it. I don't even think I went on TikTok for 2 days because I kind of got to the point where I was like, I was getting frustrated. I was like, man, nothing seems to work.
Nobody's looking at it. Yeah.
And then I go back and look in 2 days, and it's like, oh, this is working. Like people like this one. So I kept it up from there, man. And it's really been like awesome to see some of the reactions I've gotten. Like Questlove found my page and shared it. Like that was amazing.
Awesome.
Tweet's daughter reached out to me, which was really cool. So yeah, I think it's been really fun. It's something that I love to do. It's something that I've always been like a fan of, like rap and R&B. So to make content based on that. And then another thing is I was always wary of the type of content I've made for social media. I really think that whatever you make, your following is going to like kind of expect that from you, like even if you're on stage. So you kind of need to be you at all times. I would kind of worry about playing a character or whatever the case, because then you don't want to like kind of pigeonhole yourself into like always having to bring that character with you. I mean, we've seen it all the time. Like Jaleel White is probably an amazing actor, but he did Urkel so well that he can't break out of that. So it's like, all right, whatever I do on here, it has to be me.
You're doing it for me.
And so and so it's gotten to the point where I'm trying to like collaborate and like bring other people on. Me and Wills are going to do a Will Smith video.
Are you with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down for sure. I didn't want to ruin your brand though. I was like, okay, no, let's go.
Yeah, for sure. So
if y'all haven't seen these videos, they're like S-rank comedy stuff. Like it's funny because like the stuff is ridiculous, but also like it's S-rank comedy writing. Like Jordan writes jokes for this. He's really funny in his writing and delivery on these videos. Like y'all, it's so much fun.
So it's just on TikTok at Jordan Centry, right? CENTRY. And so you did Trapped in the Closet. There's some, I'm trying to think what you got here. Lil Wayne looks like Lil. There's a bunch of them on here, and they keep coming up on my feed. And
what was the one that was it the Usher one that
that got some hits.
That's the thing about social media. You never know which one is going to be the one. So I covered Usher's "You Remind Me" video, and I thought I did like a good job on it, but not any better or worse than like any other video. And to see how that one just like really blew up compared to like everything else, like on Instagram, it's got over 2 million views.
That's great.
Like I would have never thought that video was going to do that. So that's the thing, man. I guess really just advice for anybody that's like making content. Like you gotta keep shooting, because you never know which one. Put it out, even if you think like the jokes are stupid or your content isn't really that good. Like the world's a big place. You never know.
Yeah, that one is so good though. Like he's just like Usher's chasing these women down to reject them. Like he is wasting these women. Like that was so funny to me. Yo.
These are some funny things. Art, you're gonna love these. You gotta check them out. And so, Jordan, do you do some of that in your act? Do you do some of the music video? Like talk a little bit about them or not?
Not at this stage. Like if I become a headliner one day, I do feel like I would have to like probably do like a 10-minute segment at the end where like we pull down a screen. It's like, all right, let's do this live. Like,
I think that would be fun.
Probably would be, I do think it would be fun.
There's something to that. We could do that maybe for the comedy festival. You can figure out how to squeeze that in somewhere.
I would love that. I would love that. But
Joe's good at making things happen.
I love anything that's outside the box. That's kind of what I do with the Nerdy Night thing, like where I get we have the heroes debate where it's like comedians arguing about superheroes, who's better at what random topic pulled out of the hat. So it's, we had Black Panther versus the Flash, who's better landscaper, and they have to argue. They each get a minute, like shit like that. And comedians love doing that stuff. And so there's one I want to do. I just want to do like comedians making PowerPoints. Like make a PowerPoint about whatever you want. Make it fun.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Informative and funny, but it's a PowerPoint presentation. You just tell us about whatever you want. And then at the end, then there's 3 PowerPoints.
Like a comedian TED Talk?
Like a comedian TED Talk, but like funny stuff. Like you can be a review of a album. It could be your favorite, French fry recipe, but make it funny and do it on a PowerPoint. And then at the end, I bring out a PowerPoint that I created and that you've never seen before, but you gotta tell about it. Like you gotta just run through it in a funny way and try to guess. You don't know what the hell's coming up. Yeah. Someday I want to do that. Like I got all these dumb ideas that kind of floating out there. But yeah, so that music video thing really hit home for me. It's like, that's a genius idea.
Commentary, absolutely.
And fun. It sounds
you.
like you're having fun when you're doing it. And I think that's the key to it. Is it just seems like you're having fun, and so the audience has fun because you're having fun. Like it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
People love it. So yeah, I love that. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that kind of helped it be like, I guess, quote unquote, as successful as it was, is that it kind of came from like a genuine place. Like a lot of these videos I'm reviewing, these are songs that like I'm actually a fan of and I really appreciate. So like I'm making jokes, but it's really coming from a good place. And it's really funny to see how upset some people get when I make fun of these songs. Like if I posted a review of Cisco's Thong Song. And there's like 3 channels I post on. I'm mainly TikTok and Instagram, but I also post on my Facebook page too.
Yeah.
And if you go read the comments of that Cisco post on my Facebook page, it's like all hate. There's like so many old Facebook users that are pissed off.
People feel like they need to defend Cisco.
Listen, the only thing I can think of is that, these are people kind of slightly older than me. So it was like when that song came out, I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 maybe. But the people that are commenting were like 18 at the time. So they were really down at like Panama City Beach or whatever when that song.
We were at the age where it was a dirty song because it said thong. Like we were playing it at school. Like, can you believe he's gonna say thong again?
Yeah, people, whatever is their thing, you're attacking it. But it just kind of shows you the demographics of each social media. Like Facebook's obviously a little bit older, skewed. TikTok's generally younger. Instagram. Tell us about some of these other guys on the show that aren't here. Can you guys give us a brief, just kind of synopsis of the other comedians?
Yeah, so coming, our first show is going to be in Raleigh. We're going to be in Raleigh July 26th. That's kind of like our tour preview show. It's not back to back with anything else. It's our kickoff show. So we got Jordan on for that. We're going to be doing it with Brandy Roberts and Matt White, who are also going to be joining us on the tour. Brandy Roberts runs this show that we're going to do. We're going to be at Watson Ward July 26th. Really cool room, really cool speakeasy vibe. And Brandy just one of the busiest people I know.
Real. Yes. She is like a comedian / travel agent / beat producers, DJ / like everything.
Jordan and I were doing an Instagram live to promote the tour, and Brandy hopped on in the middle of it. Was like, sorry, I just got done live broadcasting a kid's Rocket League game. Like, where'd you
get that gig?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, Brandy's dope. Matt White, who's been doing comedy. Matt was like, Matt's the dude. Matt is the dude. He is North Carolina comedy. And like, he's the dude that was like giving me advice when I first started. Because by the time I came in, he had already won Port City's Top Comic. He'd already done like North Carolina's Funniest. He'd already done like all these. He'd already been on the road, ran his own shows. So by the time I started, he was already like in comedy. He's the one that like saw something in me and spent time like giving me advice and talking with me. So super excited to have Matt on. And then Cordero Wilson and Gerard Fortune are joining us. They both live in New York now. They used to live in Wilmington with me.
Okay.
They have their own great podcast called Negro Jump. It's them talking about anime with other like black anime nerds and like bringing like really just doing a deep dive.
Yeah, he loves anime.
Artstar, you got to get on the show.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So no, and then from there we're gonna do have guest comics. So when we're in your hometown, when we're in Baltimore, Vaughn Michael's gonna be joining us. Folks out there know him from his shows and the Vaughn Michael sketch show, which is still airing locally in the Baltimore, DC region. When we go to Knoxville, Brandy Augustus is gonna join us. Super dope comic, really funny comic who's just so busy, and it's going to be really fun to hang out with her. Francesca Lynn's going to be joining us in Coalition. She's a doctor. I don't know if I'm allowed to call her Dr. Lynn or what, but she is again, I'm just super excited about our guests and all the comics we got on, because these are brilliant people. These are brilliant people who, if I had my way, I would be on a show with more often. Yeah. So this is a real it's a real treat for me to be able to share a stage with them. And at this point, do podcasts like this with you, where I get to meet you and tell you I know these people.
Yeah.
I like telling people I know Jordan.
Yeah. Well, it's cool making these connections. Yeah. I mean, it's good. You guys are our first time having guests, so trying to figure out how it goes out. But so since we are the Nerd School podcast, can you guys each tell us one thing besides Power Rangers that you're a total nerd about? What are you a nerd about? What's your nerd
That's a good question.
obsession?
I think maybe because we talked about it, I really do dig the MCU. I really am I've seen all the TV shows, all the movies.
You've been through all of it.
I'm young enough or old enough, I don't know, to remember Deadpool being in X-Men Origins and being a horrible abomination of a character, but leaving the theater and being well, that's the only time we're ever going to see Deadpool in a movie, so I like it. There's absolutely no way we're going to get
clever about that Deadpool though. It's because it was Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds always has I know people who don't like any movie with Ryan Reynolds in it because they say Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds all the time and he talks too much. So here you have a Deadpool who can't talk, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
What are we doing? I was in the theater mad, but I was what was that? Came out 2011, so I don't know. Anyway, I just remember being mad about that, but also leaving the theater and be well, that's the only time we're ever going to see Deadpool. That's Galactus is a cloud, but that's the only time we're ever going to see Galactus.
The only way you can do,
But there was no way I ever thought we'd see, Avengers. There's no way. There's no way Guardians of the Galaxy is going to happen. So,
that's a lot what we talk about. Is how do they make Captain America look cool? Because he's such a douchebag looking thing in the comic books, and that dumb thing on his head and all that. So we've talked about that a lot. How did they make it cool? How did you possibly Hawkeye? He's got dumbass.
Joe hates guys with bow and arrow. He hates Hawkeye. He hates Arrow.
Awesome powers. Are just I got a bow and arrow. I'm a shit, but they somehow made him kind of cool. He's kind of cool. He's not great.
Can I ask a quick side question?
Yeah.
Is Batman a superhero?
No, I'm gonna let Artstar take this one.
I believe so. I believe he is.
Oh, come on.
Listen. He's
Batman
a master
is
detective.
rich.
That's his superpower is being a master detective. I watch Teen Titans Go. I'm a grown man and I watch Teen Titans.
That show's fire. That show is I love that.
Good. There's always this whole thing. There's this one episode where they're all mad because they don't have superpowers, yada yada yada. And Raven says to Robin, first you say you guys all have superpowers, really cool superpowers. And then she gets to Robin, she's like, you have great hair. And then he goes, not as good as Superman, but then Robin, he also was a master detective. He's a superhero.
Master detective acrobat, yeah.
Batman's beat Darkseid before. Come on. Yeah. How can he not be a superhero?
Batman's got money, but he's also the best at everything. This is a dude who, from the time he was 9 to 20, was I'm going to spend my time doing nothing but getting. He learned detective work. He just studied forensics. He just studied deductive reasoning. He has a black belt. He's just I'm going to do nothing. Vigilante didn't even exist. He didn't even know what that was, but it was whatever course I need to take to become a Batman, that's what I'm going to do for the next 11 years.
Exactly. Batman invented Skillshare. All these courses on Skillshare, it's just Batman's putting together stuff for other people to learn. But that's the thing. He's just hit the lottery on the gene pool. He's just really smart. and is a really good fighter, but there's nothing like super. Like he ain't got like he can't fly.
If he
nothing.
was an X-Men, he'd probably be like a 9th level intellect, and that would be
Excelsior.
mutant power right there. Like he's super smart.
He's
So
super
maybe
smart.
he's a
That's my-
mutant.
Yeah,
But he's
Batman-
super motivated by his parents being murdered, right? Like that.
Oh well, yeah, all right, okay.
Super
I don't-
motivated.
I don't know. Yeah, but this is the content I'm here for. I love the arguments, the nerd arguments. But like Jordan,
So,
like
so
it
go
can
ahead.
be.
Sorry,
Oh,
Joe.
sorry. I was just gonna say it can be anything. Doesn't have to be a nerdy thing. But like we said, being obsessed with anything is nerdy. Like I know somebody who's a nerd for Dolly Parton. And that's like their whole
As we all should be.
thing.
Yes.
Yes, we all should be. Sorry, Wells. Were you gonna say something before?
No, I want to hear. I
Okay,
didn't mean
yeah,
to jump
okay.
in. I want to hear Jordan's answer to
Yeah.
about the. Yeah.
I am a nerd for YouTube drama. If you have not been tapped into this, like there are YouTubers that are like constantly beefing with each other.
Okay.
And my girlfriend and I cannot get enough of this. Like we are so invested. The newest drama is this woman named Colleen Ballinger.
I was just gonna ask you,
Oh.
do you know
You
the
saw
Colleen
that?
Ballinger stuff? My
Yes.
daughter,
Oh,
my
I know
my
God.
daughter
I was
told me
shocked
all about
and
it.
appalled. Like I remember watching her on and Glozell do stuff, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wait, what?
So she
Wait, what?
and let's see if I can learn. Do you know who
Glozell,
Colleen
yes.
Ballinger is? She does Miranda Sings, and it was
Yeah.
a tour. It came to our theater. Like I took my daughter to see that show live. It was a little more adult than I wanted it to be. So that kind of gives you the segue into what happened, because I'm just kind of like, this is a room full of 1,200 kids, and she's really talking about some dirty stuff. And this is kind of what happened, right, Jordan? I'll let you take away with what the thing. She's got canceled or something, right?
She got that's another side point. I'll get to that.
Oh, okay. I thought this was
basically,
yeah.
all this stuff came out of basically she was sending inappropriate messages to underage people. She was performing inappropriate things to an underage crowd. Of course, there was a blackface scandal. You can't be, hey, look, you can't
If you
be a
gotta
white
cover your
YouTuber.
bases.
Yes, you got to get the blackface in there, right?
I can't believe
so
how
there's,
many
like,
fucking
all these
people do
things.
blackface. Like, oh yeah, I also did blackface once. Like,
Yeah.
I've never once seen blackface, and everybody's done it. Where is everybody doing blackface? It's crazy. She did that too. Yeah.
I stopped
Yeah.
leaving my house on Halloween.
What's that?
Stopped leaving my house on Halloween. There's still
Listen.
too many people who are like, no, I wanted to be Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
It was like,
Oh,
if you
God.
carry a baseball bat. Where's the number 42? I would get it.
Yeah.
I
You
would,
don't
if you
need
got
that.
that number 40,
Yeah.
I get it. You don't have
Yeah.
to
Yeah. I was Mr. T one year. I didn't put any blackface on. I just wore a
mohawk.
you know,
Gold.
and
There you go.
I
You
get
got
it.
it.
you don't have
You
to
You
be.
got it.
But yeah, but Colleen Ballinger, real quick, if you don't know, she is Miranda Sings is like a funny character that wears a ton of lipstick on her face, and she's kind of like, I don't know, not just weird. Like she just says weird things and is really creepy
Yeah.
and weird. But I think she maybe blurred the lines, but I think she also, I don't want to explain how it happened, but go ahead, Jordan. Sorry to like jump in just for the audience.
Yeah, so she was basically the big controversy, the one that really sent it over at the edge was she sent this teenage boy lingerie. I believe it was unworn, but either way, regardless, she sent this teenage boy lingerie in the mail, and this boy also ended up becoming like an unpaid intern for her, and so you kind of got like child labor and like some sex stuff, right? And her response to all of this, Will's, you're gonna love this. Her response to all of this is she picked up a ukulele and just played like a 10 or 20-minute song.
It was
responding to all the controversy.
It was supposed to be an
Toxic,
apology.
Toxic train. Like what it's a whole song she wrote to this. And it was insane. And that is the stuff that I'm talking about. But to go back to your earlier point, Joe, the thing that I've learned from YouTube drama is you can, or really just anything, you can beat being canceled if you just shut up.
Yes.
Like, that's the key. That's the key. Everybody that tries to make an apology or a response, it always makes it worse.
Way
the
worse.
news cycle moves so fast.
Mhm.
If you would just shut up for like 2 weeks,
Yep.
people will forget about it.
Yep.
That's all it is. But people don't know how to shut up, and that's how it ends up getting worse.
Well, I think part of it is what has made them famous is their downfall. It's that need to be in the spotlight. I have to be in the spotlight. I have to look at me. Oh, I got a scandal. Everybody's saying I'm a horrible, awful person. How can I turn this into views?
Right,
I
it's
know
ukulele.
Yeah.
It's time to.
it's like just shut the fuck up now.
That has to be her most viewed video by now, though, right? Like, is there any way that it's not her?
I don't
most
know.
viewed
I know
video?
she gets lots of views, and she was
No,
popular.
it's her. It's absolutely her.
No, he was just saying it's just
Oh.
the most viewed video of all of hers now. Probably.
Oh, possible. Well, so that's the other thing, right? Because even then, like drama sells. Like
Yeah.
to go back to that Cisco video I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Like it got almost 500,000 views on Facebook, even though it's all hate. Like it's still,
People hate watch.
It's still,
Yeah.
People hate watch. So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. But then there's also a line. I think you kind of have to draw the line at child labor. That's probably one thing. It's like I don't think the drama is worth
Draw
it.
the line.
Let's not,
Well,
let's
it's
not
not
make
just-
content out of that.
Yeah, like my daughter was explaining, it's like not just labor, like she like thought these were her friends, these fans, and then she like
Yeah.
made them like some of them are staying up till 4 a.m, like counseling her through her problems, like she's upset about something and calls them and they have to like talk her down, and she's like making them tweet things about her to make her seem more
Wow.
popular
Yeah,
and shit. Like
yeah.
it's like an obsession with popularity on social media. It's like it's just toxic. Like it's just
Sure.
a lot of it is like. And you look at
Right.
these people like, what are they famous for? You gotta go, Jordan.
Yeah, I gotta wrap the show up real quick, and
Yeah.
I'll call back in.
No,
All
that's
right, all
okay.
right,
I think
cool.
we're about ready to wrap up. It's been a good
Okay,
hour.
okay.
But yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for being here, Jordan. We'll
Absolutely.
finish up with Will's, but
Appreciate
have a
you,
great
man.
show, man. Thanks for being
All right,
here.
thanks a lot.
thanks-
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet
See
you, man.
y'all.
We'll check you out. But just saying, these YouTube people, like, is it real talent? Like, some of this is like, what's your talent? Like, who are
Yeah.
you? But we're
Well,
gonna
people-
yeah. Go ahead, Art.
Humans have a voyeuristic nature, right? So they either want to see you succeed or fail. So like if you put yourself out there, people will come. Like it's like, oh, let me do the stupidest thing I can do, put it on YouTube and see what happens.
Mhm.
Like even now, like
Exactly.
one of Joe's really good friends, he's into wrestling, right?
Yeah.
But then
A
there's like
really
Logan
good friend.
Paul. Logan Paul has taken like social media status and got himself to the point where like now he's paid by the WWE to show up and do things almost as if he's The Rock.
Right, yeah.
And he comes in
But he doesn't
and
wrestle.
yeah, he does wrestle, but he comes in and he also hawks his energy drink or whatever. Like he'll sit there, have it in his pocket, pull it out, show it to the camera, jump in the ring, do something spectacular and crazy, like you, Mick Foley, get out, go away for like a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
fuck this shit up, and he'll come back, pull out
Make
his,
that
his
dough.
drink again, do it again. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's
Uh,
people
crazy.
like to watch train wrecks.
Yeah, they
People like
do.
to watch train wrecks, people who are used to being in the spotlight, or who are used to being told that your value is X. Your value to us is that you're an actor. Your value to us is that you're a comedian, you're a YouTuber, whatever it is. People who are used to that do not understand how to step away from the spotlight or do not understand how to be gracious in these moments because they're wrapped up in their identity. They're wrapped up in their whole self-worth of with this. I don't know if y'all remember this. There's a time when like Mario Batali, like Iron Chef,
right.
like the chew.
Yeah.
He got accused of really gross sexual misconduct stuff. He sent out a press release apologizing for it. And at the end of it, this is like in the same message, the same press. He was like, I apologize for my actions. I ask that people be patient with me as I grow and get better. Here's a recipe for pizza dough cinnamon rolls. Like it was in the same.
Yeah.
Like he can't because we told him your value to us and you tell us how to cook. He's like, well, I messed up and
Paula Dean's another one.
Yeah.
You know? Now
She
everyone
said some
loves Paula
racist
Dean
shit.
again.
Yeah. They've forgotten all about that shit.
well, I just wasn't surprised. Like I knew who Paul, like even before that whole thing happened, I was just like, this woman says the N-word. Like it's just like a thing you know about somebody.
Right.
You
right.
get the
Like this-
feeling some
I
people,
could
yeah.
tell. I could
It's like
tell.
this recipe is delicious. She says
Yeah.
the N-word. Like it's just a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
So I never
Yeah.
got mad. I was just like, yeah, no, we knew that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, just does some of those. Like if Larry the Cable Guy got in trouble for saying the N-word. I don't think anybody would be like, "Oh,
Black Lives Matter activist Larry the Cable Guy.
Get it done.
Anyway, this was a lot of fun. So, Wills, thank you so much for being on here. Thanks for getting into our nerd kind of a nerd convo with us. And
absolutely,
yeah,
this is an absolute pleasure to meet you both. Joe, Art, what y'all are doing is dope, and this has been a lot of fun. So for real, thank y'all so much.
And one more time, your website is willsmaxwell.com. WILLSMAXWELL, Maxwell.com. I'm saying it wrong now. But check out the 2023 Black Power Ranger Comedy Tour. Hopefully it'll be in your city, or you can come to that city. I have it on here somewhere. The city's Raleigh,
we're doing
Charlotte.
Raleigh, Charlotte, Knoxville, Nashville, Atlanta, Greenville, Wilmington, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, and Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And if we're not in your town, let us know. Let us know that you want us, and we'll come.
Yeah, reach out to them. They'll find a date. Yeah, they'll find a way to come there. So great. Thanks for being here. You're a lot of fun. Art, you got to say anything to him?
It was a pleasure meeting both of you guys, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, I I love to talk sometimes. So it's nice to sit there and talk to people who also can talk. I do.
Oh, and Wills, we end every show by yelling Excelsior. So are you ready?
Let's go.
You have to say Excelsior.
It's on you, man. Go for it.
Excelsior!
Thank you for listening to the Nerd School podcast.
Say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud of a pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.